Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's talk about what just happened in the market today. A pretty damn wild start to the month of September. We talked about September being obviously a bearish month, but yeah, usually this first half is not supposed to be this bad. Usually the second half is where things get worse, and especially during an election year. October also is apparently supposed to be pretty bad seasonality wise, but yeah, pretty wild start to September. So let's go over it. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions and all that stuff as per usual. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section is live. That link is down below. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates on Tesla, and sometimes the broader market as well, every single day. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Or $4.99 a month, you get access to all that, plus also updates for NVIDIA daily. But jumping into a Tesla, closing the day only down 1.6%, closing at $210.60. And I only say only because, well, the market, QQQ, is down 3%, which is pretty, it's a pretty massive drawdown for the market, right? Like a 3% day for a QQQ, it's pretty serious, right? That's pretty serious stuff, right? That's no joke, right? That's absolutely no joke. Like 1% is even like 1.5%, 2% is considered like, okay, that's not a great day for the market. 3%, it's a pretty bad day, right? So let's talk about what this actually means moving forward. So I was talking, at least I'm pretty sure I remember mentioning it last week, how the market looks a little bit shaky to me overall, right? It's not atrocious, but like, there was just something that wasn't feeling right. That's what I was telling my members as well. And today kind of played out to fruition. Now, I ended up exiting, thankfully, on Tesla today at 219. That was a beautiful exit. I almost timed the top perfectly on my shares over Friday, I'm very happy about that. But I did rebuy the dip, unfortunately, a little bit too early. But nonetheless, I did buy the dip again as we were coming back down. And I'll explain why. So there's a few things. Let's talk about the daily first. So I'm not going to lie, the close could have been better, right? There's definitely could have been a better close. It's not the worst close, and I'll explain why, but it definitely could have been more convincing. The MACD is still crossed to being the bullish side, right? Even after such a really crazy market drawdown day, the MACD is still cross bullish, which is a good sign, right? So the MACD is still holding up decently well on the daily chart. So that's a nice sign, right? We have the stochastic still flattening out, right? Getting close. It was actually close to crossing bullish this morning when we were around 218, 219. Unfortunately, obviously we, went down a decent amount since then, but it's still trying to curl, right? It's still trying to curl. It's not pointing straight down like, for instance, NVIDIA is, right? Like literally just straight down. So that's a good sign. I like that quite a bit, right? That's always a positive. Just, we kind of need that further confirmation for it to, really cross to the bullish side. That'll be obviously ideal. Even the BX trender is actually still barely making a higher low, ever so slightly, but nonetheless a higher low. So Tesla, all things considered, held up surprisingly well today. I have to admit, very, very well hold up today for Tesla. Now, there are some still, things that are not ideal for Tesla though. On the daily chart, for instance, we closed below the 21 EMA, which is this yellow line here. We're closing below that. That's not ideal, right? Definitely want to be, maintaining price action above the 21 EMA, which we did for a lot of the day. Just the last like 2-ish hours of the day, things got a lot weaker as the market continued selling off, and Tesla finally wasn't able to fully hold up as well as it was throughout the day. So the fact that we're closing below the 21 EMA, not the worst thing in the world. Like, I like the 21 EMA, but on Tesla, it's not. Some stocks, the 21 EMA is more respected than others. I think Tesla is. You can see, for instance, just the recent price action. We've been kind of slicing and dicing through it left and right, up and down, like whatever. So it doesn't respect it as much as some other stocks, like for instance, NVIDIA does, right? But it's still just something that would be nicer if we were above it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that, keep that in mind, right? We also have the bands regression. Now, this is where things are a little bit more interesting. I think the bands regression, Tesla actually respects this one a little bit more, which is essentially the middle white line here, which, we came back above it, came up to oversold territory in the 1 hour chart, which I talked to my members about. We were overbought rather up here around 219, 220, right? And then we came back down. And now we're pretty much actually closing just barely above this median white line on Tesla. And we're above it, which is a good sign. So the fact that we're holding that, to me, is still pretty damn good. That's almost like another 21 EMA. Like some people pretty much they're like religious when it comes to the 21 EMA. That's like, it's do or die for them with the 21 EMA. But this one is, I believe, the 23-day moving average I have set here. It is, which is also pretty strong. Very similar idea behind the 21 EMA, right? Same purpose, above it, good, below, not as good. We're above it on this, which is good. So I like the fact that we're holding that. But one other thing that's making me a little bit more... Okay, well, before I get to that, we're also closing below 214 on the daily. So, I don't like that. Those are signs that I'm not a fan of, right? I don't like closing below 214. I definitely wanted to start, closing candles above 214. That would have been ideal. But with all those things being considered, right, there's a bit of, indecisiveness, it feels like, for Tesla here, right? Some bullish things, some bearish things, right? It's like, which one really is it, right? The one thing that's still making me have, I guess, quote unquote, hope, if you will, or at least still have a chance for this to be bullish, is the fact that Tesla, well, number one, it held really well compared to the market. I mean, NVIDIA and AMD down like 8, almost 10%, right? Market down 3%, Tesla only down 1.5%, pretty good. But the 1 hour chart, I mean, this could just be a simple retest, right? This could be a simple retest. As you can see, remember we had this massive rally, and then we started making this downward channel, which essentially was arguably a bull flag too. Remember that? I've talked about that many times, right? If you kind of zoom out from all the way over here, right, you can argue the fact that this was essentially just a massive bull flag. Bam, move up, take the Fibonacci retracement from down here all the way to up here, and we pretty much bounced right off that 0.5 Fibonacci-ish range, right? Great. Well, like I said, because this could be a bull flag, and we actually already broke out of the bull flag, and we actually played it out ever so slightly up to this 220 level. Now, us coming back down here, well, look exactly where these wicks are coming in, right? These wicks are coming in pretty much exactly as it's coming down to retest that breakout. So that to me is still a sign of hope for the bulls. The fact that this could just still be a nice breakout retest. As long as we hold pretty much around this 210-ish range, that's a pretty damn good sign. Also, this 214 level, as important as it is, you know, the fact that we're just kind of slicing and dicing up and down between this 214 level is starting to make me I care a little bit less about it, because the more this level kind of just keeps giving it up like this, and keep, you know, we're just constantly going up above it, then we're below it, then we're above it, then we're below it. Like the more that just keeps happening, the less weight I'm putting on this 214, 215 level being truly like a massive area of support or resistance. It's still something to pay attention to, but it's potentially a bit less important than I initially thought it would be. Again, mainly because we're just kind of slicing and dicing through it a little bit too much, in my opinion. So the main thing I'm looking at now is the fact that, you know, we have the 21 EMA, we have the 23-day moving average, but we also have this retest on this breakout. So as long as we pretty much continue holding this potential retest on this, you know, breakout that we have had so far, pretty damn good sign, right? So tomorrow it'll be pretty much above like 209, 210. As long as we don't go too far below that, it's looking pretty solid in my opinion. And as long as that continues to hold, I think the market will try to look for potential bounce, right? We have a little bit of a hammer candle on the 1 hour on QQQ here, right? It's a red hammer candle, but nonetheless a hammer candle. So could be looking at a potential, at least somewhat slight reversal. Like I think it's too early to say this is the bottom. I don't think it, you know, I'm definitely not saying this is the bottom for the market. I'm definitely not saying the market will just only go up from here, but this is a potential candidate for being the bottom. Now, again, I don't want to say it is. I think it's premature to say this is, but again, you know, look in the Fibonacci, the 0.382 level with the retracement over here, you can see, you know, coming down to this level, which is important. We pretty much gap filled as well. We do have another gap all the way down here closer to about 450. We have a 0.5 Fibonacci around 454, and we have the 0.618 Fibonacci around 447. Those are the main levels I'd look to the downside, right? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we ultimately see anywhere between 454 to 447 on QQQ, right? Which unfortunately can mean more pain for Tesla, but we could at least get a bounce from this general range that we're pretty much at right now for the market. We'll see, of course. I mean, it's a pretty massive drawdown, right? The market's not going to go straight down. But again, you know, the fact that we did break below like this on the market isn't ideal. Like the market, for instance, you know, QQQ bearish crossover in the MACD. So, you know, take it as you will, right? I mean, there have been a lot of false breakouts and, you know, breakdowns before on the MACD. We can see back here, you know, breakdown on the bearish side, but then it just went back up again anyways. False breakdown here, went back up anyways, you know, so don't take, you know, false breakout for the bullish side over here on the left, and then it went back down anyway. So don't take, you know, again, the MACD is great, but it's not, you know, a one all be all, right? Just because it crossed down bearish doesn't mean it's all over. It's just one of many potential indicators. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, if there is a place to get at least somewhat of a relief rally, a little bit of a bounce, at least, you know, or at the very least consolidate this rough area that the QQQ is in, could be it, which also could, of course, be, you know, helpful for Tesla to at least, you know, consolidate around here, or maybe even start moving its way back up, right? So we'll see how that plays out. But again, just make it simple. The way I look at it right now is, you know, there are some concerns, right? Below 214, below 201 EMA, but we're also above the 23-day moving average. We're above this potential bullish retest on this breakout of this bull flag / downward channel. So it's a little bit wishy-washy here. I wouldn't say it's, you know, it's super convincing one way or the other, to be completely honest. But again, in my opinion, as long as we hold this retest, I think it's, you know, there's definitely potential for the bullish continuation here off of this breakout, in my opinion, of course. But on top of that, we also had some nice call flow actually come in on Tesla towards the end of the day, right? 2:30 and pretty much almost at market close. We had a 4.1 million and a 2 million. So pretty much 6 million, we'll say, call come in. They're the exact same strike, exact same date. 200 strike above the ask, by the way, which is good, shows urgency, for March 21st, 2025. So about, we'll say, just over half a year, right? Maybe like 3/4 of a year away from here. which is good. That's pretty bullish. I mean, $6 million. I mean, I don't have $6 million to just throw out on a call, like, you know, we'll just say what, 8-ish months or whatever it is from now. Do you? I don't know. Probably not either. So it's a lot of money. At least I think it is. So that's something that, you know, it's worth paying attention to, right? It's above the ask as well, which shows urgency in this, you know, whoever was buying this. So clearly someone's expecting maybe a run up into the robotaxi event. Maybe Tesla will outperform the market, because I mean, people always complain that, you know, oh, well, what if the market draws down? That means Tesla has to fall down. It's like, in theory, sure. Yeah, absolutely. But keep in mind, right, the whole time the market's been going up, Tesla has been going down. So, you know, Tesla hasn't really been correlated to the market exactly like a, you know, 1-to-1 or this typical beta to the market for a while, to be completely honest, right? Tesla, you know, more often than not, likes to do its own thing. So just because the market has to potentially draw down here and have a weak, you know, maybe next few weeks or whatever, it doesn't mean that Tesla has to do it as well. It absolutely can, but just keep that in mind. We all know how Tesla likes to kind of just be its own little, you know, mischievous stock at times as well. So this could be one of those instances, especially with these kind of call flows coming in as well. So we'll see, of course, we'll see. But again, in my opinion, looking out for this, you know, retest of this breakout and holding this retest tomorrow is gonna be pretty important. So we'll see if we can continue to do that or not. But all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.